I am super fired up to kick off our recording of fractional frequency this afternoon. Today we have Jon Mest joining us. Jon is the founder and CEO of ChatRank, an AI-driven platform helping companies improve how they show up in AI-powered search results. A former Wall Street investment banker and current operator of PR software platform Just Reach Out, Jon brings a practical, operator first perspective to the rapidly changing search landscape. His latest venture, ChatRank, has seen rapid growth and recently won an innovation showcase backed by ARK Invest, as he continues to bootstrap the company with a focus on long term value over venture backed speed. So we'll get into Jon's decision to build, his philosophy on growth, and how agentic AI is redefining how brands are discovered today. Welcome, Jon.
Really happy to be here.
We are so interested to dig into your story. We learned a little bit about this last time we talked, but I'm excited to learn more today. Let's get right into it. How did the origin story of ChatRank kind of kick off? Building it for internal needs first, and then kind of shaping it to a go-to-market product.
Yeah. So like a lot of businesses today, there was this kind of moment in time where you realized things were changing in what's called online discoverability in general. For us, it was very stark. It was August 2024. We own and operate a PR software called Just Reach Out. Does really well. We eat our own dog food there and do a ton of work with SEO and have a really good content marketing strategy. So most of our sales pipeline is inbound. We spent money on ads, and so all of a sudden it was August of 2024. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, Google hasn't charged my credit card in a while for ads. And I was like, something must be broken. So I go on my ads account and I was like, oh no, it's only spent about $4 in the last 3 weeks. Like something's broken. Again, nothing was broken. And I was like, oh, let me just go through our sales funnel and realize, oh, if I search our core search areas, Google stuck a massive AI overview on top of our core search terms. And so my number one blue link we worked so hard for, and our ad even was buried so far below the fold, nobody's clicking on it. And in that moment, I was like, if Google's giving up my ad dollars to show this AI overview because they're scared of ChatGPT at the time, something's happening. Like something real is changing here. And so in that moment, we're like, well, oh crap, how do we fix this? But more importantly, how do I get into this AI overview? Because if I feel like I can get my company into that answer, we don't have to fight for the blue link anymore. We don't have to pay for that ad. I feel like I can just get the traffic back. And so we kind of went on this journey to reverse engineer how to get into that. It worked for us. All of a sudden, we're getting referral in from Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT every single day by just kind of optimizing our brand for how AI likes to retrieve information to provide answers in those search results. So we're like, well, this is interesting. We have this whole suite of customers here from Just Reach Out. Maybe somebody else would be interested in learning about this too. Started betaing it, we started developing in the open. We were just posting on LinkedIn and on our socials, like, anybody interested in this? This is what we're doing. This is what we're seeing. And eventually we got enough of a beta group that we kind of started building, and then kind of led to there. And then people started paying, and then people started paying more and more, and it turned into a whole business. So we spun it out of Just Reach Out, and then it's now its own business. It's ChatRank, but it was really built on a need for ourselves. And the reason why that's so important is that we are not building in this space because it's like a sexy, cool space. There are hundreds of companies building in the space because they think it's cool or interesting. We built it for ourselves first. Everything we build in ChatRank, we use ourselves because we use it all for our own businesses. And so I can tell you that there's no fancy bells and whistles, no things that don't matter in the software. Everything in there is exactly what we need to actually grow our own revenue. And that's why our customers love the tool.
I love that. You can almost hear the passion in your voice as you talk about it. It doesn't feel like a pitch. It feels a lot more like something that is your baby or your baby. And so I just love that. Let's talk a little bit about your personal origin story too. So while this is all happening, what was happening for you personally outside of work?
So as ChatRank became less of an idea and more of I think there's a business here, we were also having our second kid. So I always make the joke, never start your second business while you're having your second child. My beautiful daughter's amazing and she's wonderful, but there was not a lot of sleep going on in those early days as we're trying to onboard customers and help work with companies, and then also bring on a new child. Now, luckily, she's almost a year old now, which is beautiful and amazing, and the company's doing great. But yes, there was some stressful times. This is why I don't know if we'll get to it today. You need a good partner. Every founder and entrepreneur needs a good partner. My wife is phenomenal and amazing, and she supports me through all this. And it was a wild ride. And last summer, I can't tell you there's not a strict paternity leave when you work for yourself and you're running a couple businesses, but there was how can I be helpful? well, that meant that like I was working during naps. That was my my work times, which is tough. But you know that happens, and you know this is kind of just when life deals these cards, you kind of deal with it, and it was just fortuitous. I mean, honestly, I think it made us even better and stronger.
Hmm. I I couldn't agree more. I think there's something about, being forced to balance, and you have to ruthlessly prioritize what you'll spend your time on. And likely in the end, you're spending your time on the things that matter most because you have to, not as a luxury.
So wait, just curious, who was named first, ChatRank or your daughter?
ChatRank was named first. My daughter was named afterwards. So my daughter's not named ChatRank. No, sure.
Clarify that which one.
Yes, but so no. So, I mean, it's funny because like it really is in these moments. You're right, Aaron. Like for us, all of a sudden you have another kid. It's like great. Well, now I have a second business I'm running, and you're trying to figure out what to balance, what to prioritize. It's like I love like I don't know. I love doing the yard work in my yard. My wife's like, we're hiring somebody. You do not have time to do the yard work anymore. Sorry. It's like, oh well, like I love cooking dinner. It's like, well, fine, you can keep cooking dinner because you know that's something that's important to you, and what you put in your body is important to me, and everything, and it's important to our family. So this balance is really important. I'd say sleep is the thing that's lost on this. My actually, like, to her credit, my wife makes me wear a Whoop now. No free ads, but like I wear my Whoop to kind of track, am I like dying right now? Do I need to go to sleep early tonight? It really does help. So that really is just kind of like maintaining some balance and order, and kind of like, yes, while it is really fun to spend work till 3 in the morning on a customer like problem, it is sometimes you got to get some sleep too.
Totally, totally. We talked a lot last time about the decision to seek funding. So through like a venture backed sort of a relationship versus bootstrap. And you have worked in both environments. And so I'd love to spend a little bit of time on that. Share with us a little bit about your experience working in a venture backed startup, and then conversely working in a bootstrapped environment.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come across as pretty passionate about one side versus the other. I think you can probably guess which side it's gonna be, but I promise I'm not anti VC. I just think the VC model is going to have to change given where we are in right now in 2026 and beyond. Unless you're building like a foundational model company or you're building robotics or something that's really like capital intensive. Venture is going to have a struggle, like kind of having like some struggles going forward with like how to fund successful businesses that aren't necessarily called the 100x returns that they're usually expecting or looking for. So we'll get to that in a second, but I'll answer your first question first, Aaron, which is like, what are the differences and what drove me to each one of them? And so I can tell you, having been a part of a pretty high profile venture backed startup, being the first employee there, kind of being one of the founders of that team, I can tell you that it is fun, exciting, and amazing. We were able to take the funding we got and go immediately hire a team, a really impressive team, of engineers, of different people from go to market and chief of staff, all these different roles, and just go, 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 go as fast as possible. So we went from like a PowerPoint slide of an idea, raised some money on that, and then took that and actually had a working product with revenue in about like kind of like 6 or 7 months. Is like unbelievable. Like that was just like such a fun, fast journey. We were in New York City. You can just like hire, go. It was incredible. And I also saw all the fuzzy warts that come along with that. You're just wasting money left and right. You're not really being thoughtful about what you're going after. Your investors are saying just spend it all as fast as possible because we want you to just get this going as fast as possible so we can keep growing. Where the reality is like we need to just get this thing right. Why keep spending more money? Why keep going off to do different things? Why are we wasting our time on things that just don't matter? What we need to do is like find a customer, find them what they really need, build that thing, make sure that we are like, have we found the true product market fit? And it was just like these core philosophies I believe in and how to like grow a smart business that just were not exactly aligned with when you raise a bunch of venture. How do you do that? Conversely, having worked in some really incredible bootstrap companies, I worked for a company called 1010 Data in New York. They were founded in 2000. And then, I mean, the time is kind of amazing. They were doing cloud-based like big data analytics. It's starting in 2000. Their first customer was the New York Stock Exchange. Like truly like early days of like these concepts that are now so obvious, but in 25 plus years ago were like completely new. And they were like, you know what? Why would I go raise money when at the time, UBS was willing to pay for their core like development? Like they got the New York Stock Exchange as a customer. And they realized they could build customer by customer, one by one, get paid for their work, and then they didn't have to go raise venture. They didn't have to raise money, and they were able to build the thing the customer actually needed, and then go figure out how other customers could use that. And did it take them 15 years to have an exit? Yes. Was that exit for $500 million? And did they get to pocket all of it instead of giving it all to their VC investors? Yeah. So that was probably the greatest party I've ever been to. when you sell for $500 million and most 90% of it isn't going to the VCs, it's going into the employees and the founders' pockets. It's unbelievable. And so like I've seen both sides of that. And for us and our team, what we really believed in this philosophy of like, why go fast and burn, like kind of the traditional VC model when you don't really have to anymore. And I'm sure we'll get into this eventually, and I'll give you a chance to respond. But right now, as development costs are going way, way down, as the idea of how to build product completely fundamentally changes in the world of agentic AI, why go raise all this money for things that you could probably do just building smartly and on cash flow like we're doing? And so I have many more opinions on this, but I guess I'll pause for a second and kind of just give it space to talk.
Yeah, that's incredible sort of juxtaposition as you think about. So you've chosen to bootstrap ChatRank, of course.
Mm-hmm.
What is what do you think that means in terms of like your long-term vision, or what is different about your long-term vision for the company as a bootstrapped model compared to if you were VC backed?
Yeah. So one is definitely, I mean, we like not having LPs on our balance sheet or not having a boss. Like we get to build what we want to build smartly for what we want to do.
Yeah.
So does that mean, do we want to keep growing and do well? Of course. It's not like we don't want to like make this as big as it can possibly be. But what we realize is that understanding what would we do with the money? So I asked my co-founder, my CTO, Joe, all the time, like if I gave you $1 million tomorrow, what would you do? And his response is like, I'd probably be cheap, like less cheap about DevOps tools. Like I guess I yell at him when he pays too much money for like these little DevOps tools, like these like little dinky dunks like subscriptions. But that's about it. I don't need the money. Like there's nothing I would do with the money. Like we're building at the speed that our customers need. We could go like we have a roadmap out of things we want to build, but what we do is we just go to our customers and say, what do you want next? Or if we're in a sales process where the customer, like, what would make you choose us over somebody else? And they go, oh, well, we need this. Well, actually, that was on our roadmap for Q3. We'll pull it forward and do it now, and we'll just get if you'll agree to sign up, and we'll do it. And like, these are the conversations we can have with our customers. It allows us to be smarter about what we're building. Now, if we had raised all this money, we were approached by pretty much every mid-tier to then tier A VC to about funding in the early days of this. We were one of the first people to come up with this idea of ChatRank. At the time, it was us and a few others. And so we were kind of early on. So we've been approached by pretty much every one of these VCs, and we've just told them like, we're not interested. We like we need the money maybe one day, but we don't need the money. Like people are paying for us to just do the work and build them the thing they want. So for us, it's really been like listening to the customer, understanding what they need, building that. And if we had done all this a year ago when people were offered us the money, I bet we'd have built the wrong thing. And I'm not going to name names here because I don't like poo-pooing competitors, but like we see some of our competitive products from customers that come to us and cancel them. And we see like, wow, you built the wrong thing. Probably because you built it a year ago before the market was mature enough. So you built the thing you thought people needed, but actually this is what they need. And what we realize is that by waiting and being like more thoughtful over time, we built the product the customers actually needed. And now, like call it fast forward, we're now growing really, really quickly. So maybe we would have grown quicker earlier with the other model, but we would be stalling out and churning right now as people realize it's not actually what people need. This is what people want. And so I guess it's a long-winded way of saying this is like by bootstrapping in this industry, especially as things are changing so rapidly and like as like things are going forward, we're realizing more and more, find really good, high quality partners early on, work with them, have them give you the feedback you need, and then use that to your advantage and go use them to help resell the next one, the next one, the next one. That mindset and mentality has been really, really effective for us. Would it be nice to have more money in the bank account that we can just burn off of? Sure, like that would be really nice. I mean, at the same time, I'd much rather be in the position we're in, where our balance sheet and our capital structure is phenomenal. We're good, but we don't need the money to go invest and grow any faster. I think we're doing really well.
It's I had heard a few times, I wish I remember the source exactly, but about the reason that startups succeed or fail being about timing to market over basically anything else. And I had
Mm-hmm.
never thought about the relationship between timing to market and the conditions that have to be true to be successful as a bootstrapped startup and getting some edge there. But it makes a lot of sense when you lay it out like that. You're forced to listen more intently to your customer and prioritize what they need, and in turn what you come up with and the product that you build will be sharper and more relevant as you release it. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I watched some of our competitors as they did raise a lot of this money. I mean, some of them have raised hundreds of millions of dollars in the same space that we're in. And as they raise that money, I'm like, what are they doing? Again, I don't really care about our competitors. We keep our heads down and just like build what we want to build and build what we think is right, and we're doing really well with that. But like, what are they doing? I look, they're hiring salespeople. So when you hire a lot more salespeople, you're going to do more sales. Great. They're not actually hiring a lot of engineers. They're hiring a lot of salespeople, which is again that's a separate conversation for just can you pump enough money into a couple companies and basically guarantee success by just giving them such a leg up that nobody else can win? It's called king making these days. They're calling it in the AI world and like the VC world. So if every single major VC just puts their money into the same one or two companies and like you've just decided who wins, and you basically get to pay yourselves your own money back, which is kind of crazy, but that's kind of how it's working a lot of these VC world these days. But so we're seeing like what are they doing? They're going to out there and acquiring a bunch of very expensive account executives, and all of a sudden you're getting now you're getting like an absolute floodgate of feedback of what they need and what they want from the customers. Like, hey, I got to close this deal, build this thing. I got to close this deal, build this thing. We see that they're building all these things that don't matter because there's no thought to it. There's no process. There's no actually like, does this make the product better? It's just, I'm going to close this deal. We'll build this feature. Well, then when you do that, all of a sudden your product stinks because it's actually confusing. Nobody knows how to use it. It's add all these like added things that don't matter because this one customer wanted it. And now all of a sudden, like a year later, you're like, wait, what did we build? Is this even relevant? Is it, our customers are even happy with this? And all of a sudden, yeah, it was a good idea and it was smart to like think about it this way from the beginning. But then now you've kind of built this Frankenstein that who knows? This is like the Salesforce problem, the Slack problem. As you get so mature, Salesforce is an amazing CRM, but it's so freaking confusing because like it's added so many things to it. Like nobody knows how to use it. It's like at a certain point, you kind of have to step back and be like, is this the right thing to do? And so for us, we never had that problem, I guess, because we just like when people would tell us we want to build this thing, we'd be like, you're the only ones that ever said that. We're not doing that. We'll just like, sorry if that means we lose the deal. We'll move on to the other one. We don't have time to do all these things. Yeah. We don't have so many engineering hours in the day with our team. So we kind of declined some of those things. Now, we had to have a good, really strong thesis about what did matter. And so we won't just build anything. But if as long as it's like in our like vicinity, if we've thought about this and think it's relevant, we'll just like either pull things up on a roadmap or add things on and be like, hey, we're not ready now, but come back to us in a couple months. And we're like, well, I think we'll be ready for you. Like that messaging really works if you deliver on it.
Well, and I think that's a perfect segue into telling our listeners, what are you building at ChatRank?
Yeah. So with ChatRank, we have kind of evolved over time as well. I'll be honest about like what we are really focusing on for our customers. Initially, it was sort of like the SEO for the AI world. How do you get your brand to just show up and ranked well in AI search? That is still very much a component of what we do. That's like got the acronym GEO, AEO, whatever you want to call it these days. It's like the idea of helping your brand show up and rank in AI search. Now, that is really good, and we do help our brands do that. But what we're really doing is we're helping build a brand. You're helping your brand be discovered and understood by the AI. So ChatRank does a couple core things. So first, it audits your brand and figures out who are you as a brand, not according to us at ChatRank, according to the AI models themselves. Who are you? And so we say, this is who you are. This is the target markets you're going after. These are your niches. These are your ICPs. This is everything you need to know about your company. And if you look at that and you say, cool, that's us, then good. We're kind of like, we're good for the first step. If you think to yourself, that is not at all who you are. We think we're this. And like, why does it say we're this? That's a problem. Now we realize that the AI thinks you're something that you're not. We need to go fix that. So kind of first step is auditing the brand and figuring out what you are. Now, once you've adjusted that information, that metadata, you can then say, okay, well, what should you care about? We translate your brand into what are the things that you should be caring about. So they call it the search intent of the user. So it's not like SEO keywords. You're not going to track 5,000 things in ChatRank. You're going to track maybe 30, 60, 100, whatever the number is of different search intents of the user that are like, hey, I care about this general idea, this thing. Because they are all, everything is kind of like that long tail keyword. So what we do is the same thing that the AI models do. When you type a long paragraph into ChatGPT, it says like, okay, what does this actually mean? What are they trying to tell us to search for? The AI models then go search that thing, do like a live search of that thing, and then come back with, some answers. So that's the second thing we do is we figure out what you should care about as a brand to like succeed. We then run a ton of data on that. We run simulations and samples to figure out what it is you're actually doing to win. And so like, what are those things that you're doing that are doing really well? Where are the areas that you're hurting and you're losing against your competitors? And we track all that as well and see where are you winning and losing and why. What are the AI models telling us are the reasons why you're showing up here and not there? Why are you more visible over here and more there? And then that data layer underlying that is, includes all the citations and references. It includes socials. It includes like your website hygiene. Do you have good technical SEO on your website? All that kind of feeds into what is like how are you doing as a brand? And then from there, that's where a lot of the traditional GEO tools stop and say, okay, here's the data, here's the information. Well, we've then built an entire recommendations engine on top of that. So our agents will actually go through the different components of the data layer, identify core areas of improvement where it's almost like you have good opportunity here. It's a low competitive like area. You're losing where you should really be winning. Your competitors that are beating you are not really that strong on this topic. Go after this with this like playbook. Whether that's create new content, whether that's do more socials, get more reviews, go get some external brand mentions, go get like the Wall Street Journal to write about you, like all those different things that'll kind of recommend for you, build you this playbook. Those recommendations, you kind of complete those recommendations week over week. We call it 1 hour per week marketing. And you spend an hour every week completing your task for the week, kind of like aligning to our playbook that we're providing for you. And then watch as you grow and grow. And like, obviously, if you want to see you being cited more, and then also see you getting conversions and referral in from these sources. And so there is a constant feedback loop of, is it what we're doing working? And if yes, continue doing more of that. If not, it'll pivot. So it knows to do all that. So, I mean, to summarize, it's identifying who you are as a brand, making sure that aligns with how the AI thinks of you, translating you, figuring out what the data is, figuring out your opportunities and your gaps, then filling in those gaps by following our playbook.
So it's your very own brand ambassador.
We're toying with terms here. Brand ambassador, I like it. We started with like the brand command center. It doesn't sound right. I don't know. We're going with different things here, but it really is turning more into like a brand. It's almost like branding for AI.
I think overall, right, as the world is changing to each company having also their own brand, like you said, right, and figuring out what that means. AI is obviously evolving too, right? So what do you feel is changing about how brands are being discovered today with respect to the entry, of AI?
Absolutely. So what we realize, and we're seeing more and more, is that the AI has almost unlimited access to information. So it has so much information that's out there that's saved from whether it's books or research or whatever that might be. So there's almost like I said, an overload of information about topics and ideas and areas. What it doesn't have is like that human sentiment, like the kind of the validation and verification that you are what you say you are, and that you are good at those things. And so for us, what we're trying to explain to our customers is, okay, so imagine like you have a great blog, you have a great website, you have great research, you have all these things, which is really, really good. Do you have good customer reviews? Do you have really, really high quality mentions in these areas that have been known to be kind of validated as authority signals to the AI tools? Places like Reddit, like YouTube, like other socials that are kind of like, again, real humans talking about your brand. That is what most of our brands are realizing that is missing from their kind of overall strategy. Is they think, oh, if I just write amazing blog posts, it'll just work. Like, no, that's one piece of it. Yes, you need to be able to explain your information and show that you are an authority on a topic, but having topical relevance in other areas is super important too. So having others talking about you as well is really, really, really valuable. And so I always like to joke with our customers now that because there's so much information, imagine you're like Coca-Cola in the 1950s. If you wanted to advertise, what are you doing? Taking out a full page ad in the paper, and you get like one image and like 5 words. Like, what is your brand? Like, if you can't explain your brand like you could at Coca-Cola in the 1950s, then you can't really kind of show that to the AI and to everybody else. Like, what is it you're trying to be? That thing, make sure that everybody's talking about that. You're talking about it like specifically. So again, like not your marketing team and your CEO and your like sales team talking about different things. No, are you all focused in the same areas, as well as are your other customers and your people that are out there talking about you and your G2 reviews or Trustpilot reviews or Yelp reviews, whatever those are those aligned to those kind of core areas? So that's kind of the big piece that's missing from a lot of people. And they realize, like, what is AI search different than call it, traditional search?
Right.
It's a completely different way of thinking about this problem statement. We have a lot of clients who are very focused on their talent brand, for example, as a part of how they show up to market, how they attract good people. And it used to be that you could just go pay for, like a career page or whatever on a LinkedIn or a Glassdoor, and then you spend some ad dollars in SEO and drive people to that, and like, check, you're done. And that's not how it works anymore. So you really have to flip your thinking. And just out of pure curiosity, I have to know, does ChatRank also include that concept, like employee value proposition and talent brand, or is it more like business brand focused?
It's amazing, a lot of both. We have many different customers that use us for many different things. A lot of our core like kind of customer is I want to get more users, more customers, more patients, more like revenue, basically. I'm using this channel for that. We have customers. We have one that just came to us recently, and they are in the called the online lottery, online gaming space.
Mm.
And their problem is that they're a legitimate business with legitimate, it's everything's completely like buttoned up and fine. But if you go to AI search or like a ChatGPT and say, is this company a fraud? Is this company like not real? The answer is like, yeah, they're potentially a fraud. They're almost using it for like PR. They're almost using it for like, is this like a real thing? They need to like, we need to undo what the AI thinks about us because we are legitimate, we are real. But maybe a couple of reviews were left that like people were upset about it. All of a sudden, you have like all this bad news, and now ChatGPT is saying you're like fraud or you're like not real. There's that component of it, or there's like as a business we are working with one right now. It's sort of like a complete brand pivot. So there's a fintech. They were really big in the cannabis payment space, but now they want to be in like the B2B payment space. And, they're just in the e-commerce or like other areas. Well, if AI only thinks you do cannabis, they're never going to ever recommend you for other things because, like, no, you're the best at cannabis. Why would you also be good at this thing? So the same thing applies to your workforce, to when you're hiring everything else. People are going to be like, oh, well, they're saying they're doing this, but AI is telling me that they're like a cannabis company. I was like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? So these brand pivots are super important as well. And so you have to make sure that AI understands you and understands what you're trying to go after. That's not an overnight change. It's going to take time to kind of move the needle on that.
So would you say, though, that a human-led marketing team is still essential for company success?
I would say that is the most essential thing because we work with a lot of companies that have no marketing team. So our best customers have, like content teams and engineering teams. I think they have all these things, of course. Like those are our core power users. But we find with ChatRank, why we've been so successful at ChatRank is because we've built the UX of our product to work for anybody that has no marketing background at all, no content background at all. We try to make it super easy for you to kind of be fed these recommendations. So hey, it says, here's your gap. You should be doing better in this area. X competitor is doing much better than you. You have a massive gap in, say, your content. So here is a piece of content we're writing for you. Oh, no, by the way, here's the first draft. If you wanted to take this content and post it, it might be okay, but we really needed some really unique insights from you. So I need to know, why are you so good at this thing? What makes you better than your competitor across the street? What is this thing that you do really well? I need a quote from your CEO and I need some data points to back it up. You give us those 5 or 6 data points, those 5 or 6 things. We then feed that into our AI, so it then uses that, includes it in your content that it's writing. Now all of a sudden, you're not just writing AI generated content. You're writing like highly authoritative signaling to the AI that you know what you're talking about because you have data to back it up. You have novel information they've never seen before. That's what matters. You don't have to be a content strategist or like a marketing person to do that. We work with like medical practices. The doctor themselves is just filling in these details, and they're the marketing team. Like they don't want to focus on marketing. They want to treat patients, but they know they need to do marketing. We help them do it really easily and quickly and efficiently on a week-to-week basis and get results. And so for us, it's funny enough, like the human is the most important part of this. The AI can do actually a lot of the, call it, marketing tasks that marketing doesn't even want to do. The data analysis, the figuring out what's going on. What we do is we need the human, the real brand to give us an insight the AI would never know.
Makes sense. And extremely crucial for those teams, like you said, that don't have marketing, right? You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but just to expand upon it some more, how will companies need to think differently about, their marketing approach to stay, relevant as the landscape evolves?
I think the one thing you can be doing, and you don't need any tool for this, you don't need a ChatRank to do this, is just pay attention to what is moving the needle in your industry. What are people doing or saying or thinking? This is as simple as like, I know people like put like a Google alert on their name or on their company name, but like that's the simplest version of this. But just go to ChatGPT, do a temporary chat so it's not influenced by any sort of past history or anything like that, and just start searching around different areas about your business, about what you care about, know about. See what they're saying. See who's doing well. See what they're kind of going after. All of a sudden, because what's happening is we at ChatRank, we check on all these like different like model tuning and changes in the way like these different tools are reacting to information. So 1 week, ChatGPT might tune their model to be really receptive to like Reddit content being the deciding factor what works. And a couple weeks later, they'll tune it back and it won't be as relevant anymore. We'll keep track of that. We know all this. We kind of inform our brands about this. But you as a company like should just be kind of at least aware of what is driving the needle for these different tools and these different models. So something that people don't really realize probably is that when somebody goes to a ChatGPT, they're getting fed different answers than they might go if they go to a Claude or a Gemini, not because like they're fundamentally like different in the way that the models are structured. Frankly, these companies have different business relationships with different companies. Google and Gemini is going to recommend YouTube content way more because they own YouTube. Like, for example, we found that ChatGPT, like every small business has been told, build your Google business profile because that's all that matters for like winning an SEO. That's true. But ChatGPT doesn't use Google Maps. They use MapQuest when they do a lot of their mapping and like seeing who's where and who's relevant in places. So if you've only ever focused on your Google Maps profile and you've not actually like thought in your map pack and never thought about, like other sources, you might just not be showing up as well in ChatGPT. It's because frankly, OpenAI doesn't want to pay Google for that information. So there's like these weird business relationships that are actually driving what's happening in these different answers that most people probably never would think about or don't want to think about. But you can actually see some of this if you just start going through and doing things. Like I said, like who is the best at blank? Why did you say that? Why didn't you include me? Why did you include me? Let's be your citations and sources. Like those kinds of inquiries into the AI search tools will help you kind of learn a little bit more about how they're making decisions. You don't need a tool like ChatRank to do that. That's just like simple basic stuff you can do as a business owner.
I totally agree. I don't think many people know that at all. That was just like a very big wow moment.
Claude won't scrape Instagram because Claude and Meta don't have a great relationship, like Anthropic. It's just weird. There's a weird stuff where like there's some things that just are super neat, it's easy. Some things are not. And if you don't realize that, you're not an expert, you're not living and breathing this every day like we do, you might not realize that. And so like these are things that you can kind of just like play around with and toy with and see what's working, what's not for you.
I think it's a good reminder about how this all works too, and a reminder for people to turn their brain on, and you don't just take whatever the LLM you're interacting with feeds you at face value. Like think about it and try to understand where it's sourced from or what that means. Challenge it, and I think to your point, people will come up with better ideas and make better decisions accordingly.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of closing questions, kind of quick hit advice for you, Jon. So we'll rapid fire these. What is one thing that you think founders should prioritize when it comes to positioning their brand for discovery and revenue growth in this new world?
The one thing I always tell all of our customers, whether they're actually paying us or they're just kind of coming into our prospect funnel, is you have to start somewhere. So people come to us and they think this is this massive project to undertake. It's going to take me months and years to get it right. The answer is maybe. I can't tell you for sure. What I can tell you is if you don't start, you're never going to get there. So what I'll say is if you don't know what you want to do yet, go write a blog post. You can have AI to help you do it, but go write a blog post about the core of what you do and why you are the best at doing that. And then after that, go record a YouTube video. It doesn't have to be high tech. It doesn't have to be like crazy complicated. Just get an iPhone or like a camera like this and record yourself explaining that in video format and explaining it to everybody and post it to YouTube. And then go on like different socials and kind of see where people are commenting on things adjacent to your industry and just start commenting on it. I don't know if that's going to immediately get you to $1 million in revenue tomorrow. Like I can't promise anything. What I can promise you is that these small things add up. And so for somebody who's thinking about this channel or this idea, what I can say for sure is the traditional search, like as far as like getting traffic to your website, is going down. Like the idea of traffic to your site is not really the metric you should be caring about anymore. It is, do the people that do land on my site, do they purchase? Do they engage? Do they sign up for a demo? Do they like kind of work with me? That is what really matters. And as a business owner, you can start tracking that through like various different tools. But really, it's just like if you want to start approaching this channel as like a new way of getting organic like traffic into your funnel or into what you're trying to do or whatever you're trying to accomplish, start somewhere. And that's like the first thing I can share. And like I said, you don't have to be perfect. What it has to be is information that shows these authority signals to the AI that you know what you're talking about. That's all that really matters to start.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Second one. So for leaders who are choosing to bootstrap either a company or an idea, what's one piece of advice that you'd have for that audience, or one thing that you wish you'd learned sooner?
I think they're the same answer to what I would recommend and what I wish I learned sooner is you have to just go talk to customers or potential customers. I hear so many people telling me, oh, I'm going to do this thing. I'm bootstrapping it. I'm going to just spend the next 2 months heads down building this product. It's like, why? Do you even know if anybody cares about it? Do you like know if it's worthy? Do you know if that's what they really want? Have you thought at all about like what this would mean for like, no, go talk to 30 customers or potential customers first, hear what they need, and then go actually build that thing that they need. Maybe it's just one person needs it. Oh no, by the way, whoever says they'll put a credit card down and pay, that's the one you start with. Like start with that person and build that. And then from there, build another one. And when you have I don't know, people argue with this number if it's 5 or 10, but like once you have 10 customers paying for the same thing, I feel pretty good. You can probably go lean into that more and explore that and actually go like do that more and more and more. But like, don't just go build and then hope for customers later. If you have a burn and you have like a bunch of money in your bank account, like if you're venture funded, you can like kind of get away with that a little bit more and maybe make a few more of those mistakes. But like, frankly, if you're bootstrapping this, you have to be sure somebody's going to pay for it. Otherwise, you're not going to really exist for very long because you got to put food on the table. And so for us, I think it's really important to just always remind ourselves and remind everybody we talk to and people I've talked to in other industries and that are kind of trying to start a company is go talk to customers. I have people that say it's got to be 3 to 5 a day. You got to just be like hustling. Anybody you can find that'll talk to you, even if they're not your perfect customer, what are their problems? What do they need to see? How would they think about this thing? The more and more you hear that, the more you realize you're going to find a lot of patterns in those answers, and you're going to probably have a pretty good sense of what you should build based on that.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, and it's advice I wish that we had heard sooner, launching Strativus. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But Jon, it has been so fun to chat with you again. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. If listeners want to learn more or follow you, where can they learn more about you or ChatRank?
Yeah, please. Absolutely. Go check us out at chatrank.ai. It's CHATRANK.ai. That's our website. All information's on there about what we do, who we service, kind of the different industries we play in. It's been a really fun space to build in, so we're really excited about that. Also, check us out. You can check out me. We also, like I said, own Just Reach Out. That's justreachout.io. Again, very related digital PR business around these ideas of getting those external brand mentions as well. And yeah, like we're really excited. We built our team. These are our 2 businesses right now. There's nothing to say we're not going to have a third later this year. No hints at that. But like we're always building and trying to find new things. Again, by talking to so many customers, we realize there's common pain points, and so we as a team have kind of like a separate entity that incubates ideas and things like that. And so we're always kind of coming up with new things. And so for those, just kind of pay attention and learn more about those as they come about.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jon. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Jenna.
Bye.
Bye.